Tell me a joke. Make something funny. Lighten the mood.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Anastasia podcast. I was just threatening to break Matt's kneecaps.
And I was taking you up on that threat. Go ahead, do it.
Come on, tell me a joke, funny boy.
I have a joke.
Honey, look at your face in my frame. That's what I'm talking about.
I can't help it. I'm trying to get engaged with my followers here. These people want to see me.
We need a bigger house.
Yeah, we need something because this is totally not working. Ooh.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Anastasia podcast. This week, I have all of our favorite guests, Matthew.
I'm back.
We are going to talk about our first big family vacation as a family of 4. Last week in the podcast, I talked about what camping was like. Like, you ended up having to go to work and we couldn't record together.
I was going to say, I don't remember talking about camping.
I did it solo.
That's my trip. That's my thing to talk about.
Oh, yeah, camping. Well, we
You
can
guys
talk
didn't
about
know it was great.
we can talk about because we're planning another camping trip, so I'll have you do that podcast solo and you'll just fill in all the fans.
Okay, it'll be out in the woods though, by a river,
That might be cool.
definitely.
But this was our first trip as a family of 4, packing a whole truck bed full of a lot of stuff for a whole week, Saturday to Saturday.
First time in Maine with Noli.
Yes.
A whole new state.
And it was a lot.
No, it was easy.
It was easy.
Easy peasy. I'd do it again, tomorrow.
Did you trauma block it?
What's that?
Like where something is so traumatic that you forget.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do with everything in my life.
Anyways, so I want to talk about that. And then our normal things that we do where we talk about like our win of the week, accounts that we're following, shows that we're watching. I'm not watching any shows right now.
Me either.
None.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Try to watch that Hawaiian show with you, but you're not interested.
Oh, yeah. What is it called?
Something Kings of War or something.
You said it's like a Game of Thrones version of Hawaii.
Kinda. That's what the critics are saying, not me. I've never watched it.
Well, I'm not into that kind of stuff. So if you end up starting watching it, you're welcome to continue doing on yourself.
Well, thank you for the permission.
Oh, you're welcome.
Anything else I can do?
Shut up. And then for books, I am right now rereading. I finished the You're a Badass book. I'm like literally have 20 minutes left. You're a Badass at Making Money. I finished The 4 Tendencies. It was really, really good. That's something I actually want to talk about too, because on the way up to Maine,
I didn't want to talk about that.
on the way up to Maine, I had Matt do the questionnaire for the 4 tendencies because I always thought you were an upholder, and that's someone who meets outer expectations and inner expectations with no resistance. It turns out my husband is a rebel, which makes so much sense because you have like a defiance about you that's worse than me.
That's not true. Don't lie to me.
I fear authority, you don't. And I thought, like, I push back on authority and I have my rebelliousness, but like when it's like a boss or something like that, like I always get my work done. I always go above and beyond. And
Half-ass rebel.
yeah, I don't know, but being an obliger, my wing, it like goes down because it's an upholder up here, an obliger here, a questioner here, and a rebel here. You're a rebel with weirdly like obliger. I guess that's where like your job comes into play because that's why I always thought you were an upholder because you're so good at your job. You're so good at doing your job. But then you have this just innate ability to meet all your inner expectations of yourself, like with all the projects that you do and anything that you think up. And then you just set your focus on it and you go do it.
Just looks like I'm meeting those things, but in my head, I'm never meeting it.
Well, that's what makes total sense now because you're literally never satisfied. And how many times do we have conversations where I'm like, Matthew, learn to look around, smell the roses. Like you don't ever settle down and enjoy where we're at in life. And I'm not asking you to sit there and like pause on the momentum of us as like a family moving forward and working towards goals. You're like just totally never satisfied.
Geez, maybe make me sound like a psycho.
A little bit. You are, honey.
I'm so satisfied that I want to keep going.
And then I always think about like, this is why you married someone like me, because I'm like the definition of like, you know, where I'm at right now in this exact position in my life, I'm so grateful for. And we might not be where we want to be, but together we have it all. And it's like the wife needs that to like bring you back down to earth and have you like enjoy the ride and not always only have focus on the destination.
Sure.
So tell me about the when I was asking you all the questions for the rebel test.
Oh, I was like super annoyed that you're asking me questions while I'm trying to drive.
Which also reminded me of one time we were driving home, maybe from North Carolina or something like
I
that.
never
And
drove to North Carolina with
then maybe I know where it is. We were going to Gunstock and I brought the You're a Badass book with me and I was asking you questions in it and you were ripping pissed. This is like literally 10 years ago. You're like, this is stupid. I'm not answering these fucking questions. And I'm like,
alone.
can you just answer them for me? And even like, that's where the rebel comes.
Because I don't need you to be my therapist.
I'm not trying to be I'm your wife. I have to share the rest of my life with you. I would like to know how your brain works a little bit.
It's none of your business how my brain works.
Oh my God. You want to change your tone?
I guess that makes me a rebel.
Oh my goodness. So, anyways, we're talking about a couple things in one, but the 4 tendencies on Gretchen Rubin's website, she has like it's like 12 questions or something like that. And based on how you answer it, lets you know where like which category you kind of fall more into. And your willingness to answer those questions was what prompted me to remember like it was like a deja vu moment of like, oh my God, the last time I was asking him questions in a car like this, like you're getting so annoyed. But you know what? You say you're a rebel and like, "Ugh, I don't want to do it, but you do it because you love me and I'm your wife and I ask you. And just
I'll
like,
do everything you ask because I'm a good husband.
yes, just like the You're a Badass books, they come with a guided journal. Well, they don't come with it. You buy it.
Definitely not doing a journal, but
That's what he thinks. And I was filling it out this whole week on the beach. And then I thought to myself, like, you know what? Because it forces you to think about things a lot of different ways. And I was like, I would like love for my husband to fill out a journal like this, no timeline, no like, hey, I need it by XYZ, just for like, so I could read it and just like know your thoughts a little more. And like, that would be such a sweet present for me. So I just like brought it up to him gently. We'll see if he'll ever do it, but that would be like the best gift I could ever get.
I can count on one hand how many times
If you're about to do
journal.
if you're about to try to be spicy and say something shitty, don't say it.
I am so excited to write in a journal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I know you don't well, you could even like audio response or something like
I
that.
don't
Like,
do that either.
you'd be willing more to do that than you would sit down.
The whole reason I'm doing these is so that Noli can look back on them in the future. Or that's what I told myself.
Okay, so when we took the tests and you're a rebel, and then I took the test and I'm an obliger, we were driving and you had said that me being an obliger actually makes a lot of sense. Why does it make a lot of sense?
Because your whole life you've been all about meeting outer expectations for other people, and then you let your own expectations fall to the wayside. Whether it's for a boss, a client, a friend, whoever it is, you can't help yourself. You just go above and beyond for somebody else to make sure that their needs are met and they're happy, including me. But then when it comes to yourself, you're like, well, that can wait till later. And the can gets kicked down the road.
Because everybody else's things to me end up feeling more important than the things I want to do for myself. And then there is that like fear and hesitation of just starting the things that I want to do for myself, like example, my podcast or whatever. But it was interesting too, because the first night of vacation, it's a lot. It's getting there, it's unpacking, it's
We're supposed to leave at 6 a.m.
no, we'll talk about that. But when I was getting ready for bed that night, like you were like, can you please like hurry up and get ready for bed? I'm so tired. Let's go to bed. And it was like 11:30 and I like washed my face off. I was moisturizing, like plucked my eyebrow. Like I was just doing my whole wind down routine. And I was thinking about how like every night that is like the time when I finally don't have to do like meet other people's expectations. I don't have to do things for everyone else. And I've always wondered why I've been a night owl. And I'm like, oh, like I just always toss it up to I bartended for so long. I worked in the restaurant industry for so long. I was up for so late. But I think it's actually like the only time I truly get peace and get to like connect with myself and like, well, what do I want? And what are the and like midnight is not the time when I can sit and open my laptop and work on things. Like I'm exhausted after serving others all day. But it was just a very interesting observation to me because I was looking at it through the lens of, okay, I'm an obliger. And I was like, this makes so much sense because even for you, like, yes, the nature of our lives right now where you're working like double full time and I'm at home with Noli, obviously, like, I'm doing everything I can to help support you and take care of you.
But you also realize too, while you're doing all that inner work or whatever you want to call it, that part of the reason you stay up is because I'm always at work until late. And no matter how hard you try, you can't go to bed quote unquote on time or early, like once you put the baby down, because you have to stay up till I get home. And it's not even that I want you to do that. I want you to go to bed, but you feel this like need to stay up for me, to be awake for me, to talk to
Well,
me when I get home.
yeah, and to make
And
sure that you're safe because of your job, and then I also think, like, I have this you would think that it's an inner expectation, but I actually have this outer expectation that, like, our home needs to be like, I have a standard, right? And I think that's a little bit of, like, how we were raised, like, my mom, if we overslept for school and we didn't make our bed, we were gonna be even more late for school. Like, you're not making your bed. Like, the house was cleaned all the times, and, I wanna have Noli and our kids have that implemented to a degree because when we were dating, I don't even know what the hell was going on in your room. That was so freaking scary.
I don't recall.
You don't recall that time I tried to clean your room and surprise you, and 13 hours later, it looked like I hadn't done anything?
I think you got a little bit lost in the sauce there.
There were like over 8 loads of laundry. I threw out garbage bags worth of stuff.
Blender bottles with old protein shakes.
It was so disgusting. I think, like, for me too, mentally, to know, like, the past Noli's 8.5 months now, it was so much newness that, like, even when we first brought her home, those first couple months, you and I needed to have order in our home to feel like we weren't drowning. And I think still going through this newness, that is, like, for me, I have this outer expectation of, like, well, I can't survive in a mess. And I don't even it's not even, like, meticulously clean and amazing. Like, we
Those
just
things have their place.
yes, and, like, even when we left for vacation, you Dysoned the entire house, upstairs, downstairs, and when we were driving, like, the silence finally got broken in the air because we left way later than we wanted. I was like, "Was that even really necessary?" Fast forward to a week later when we came home, oh my god, was it so nice to walk into a pristinely clean home.
Yeah.
That was way
We
cool.
immediately got it dirty by unloading the car,
It's
but
so bad.
it was nice to have all that stuff cleaned up to come into the house nice and clean.
Regarding accounts following, like, who's hot on social media, I actually just went through and unfollowed, like, every kind of influencer person, like, ever because I really just wanna not utilize social media at all unless it's podcast related because I'm noticing that is becoming a huge time suck for me, and I guess if I'm saying, like, what's new and hot, I downloaded a devotional, and I try to do that every single day, and I will say that has been very helpful because it just makes me think about God and, like, things on a larger scale than just me plugged into my own little world, and I'm gonna be trying to go to church more often because especially after we had Noli, it was like, I'm definitely not driving an hour one way with a newborn, but there's
She's a
just
rock star in the car now.
she is, and there's something about just being in, like, your church community. You, like, feel God's presence in every bit of your body, and I'm like, "I need that," and I feel so at peace and so connected to, like, what my greater purpose is and just feeling like my feet are planted where I'm at in my life and, like, not feeling like I'm falling behind and I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I feel so much peace every single time I go to church, and I'm like, "I really need that stability more in my life." And then the people that we typically go to church with, the O'Briens, it's great because we just spent a week with them on the beach in Maine, and Noli loves Carrie, she loves Caitlin, so I'm like, "This is gonna be great." If I, like, need help with the baby, if I need help, I promise you they will be taking Noli and going off with her for, like, the whole service. So I'm kind of excited. I know with your work schedule, it won't always be easy for you to make it with us, but I wanna do this for myself.
Mhm.
That's what I'm doing on my phone right now. I unfollowed every influencer I follow, and I'm trying to read the Bible more.
Yeah, I had a nice break on vacation of just not going. I mean, I'm not really on social media much, but I go on YouTube a ton and watch a bunch of stuff and fall victim to whatever algorithm they're pushing towards me or whatever. And there's all kinds of like political crap coming up on my YouTube because I watched one video or something. And then now my home screen is filled with that when it should be filled with mountain bikes and dirt bikes and excavators and other stuff like that. I did a couple, like, I watched some surfing stuff when we were on vacation. And all of a sudden now I'm getting like that on my phone again.
Are you enjoying it?
No, that's a problem too, because then I just wanna go, like, all in on
You
the
know what?
next thing that the algorithm's pushing towards me, whether it's dirt bikes or surfboards or tractors or whatever.
So you've never really been a social media guy, but you've always been a big YouTube guy in, like, any project that we're working on, like you use YouTube like a resource. You've never been a YouTube junkie. Like you pay for a YouTube subscription because of like anytime you need to fix anything on the tractor, like, you're building a new frame for something, or you just utilize the heck out of these resources out there.
Educational side.
And I've always been in so much awe about it because my brain is not wired like that. And like you're a self-starter. Like you're so like, I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out and then I'm gonna do it. And I'd be like, huh? Like what? So that's even funny that you said like all the political stuff because you like never you're never someone who gets like fired up about that stuff or you just like to stay informed, I guess. But even that, it just gets freaking tiring when you realize it's all a sham.
Mhm.
Oh, so actually that's really funny because I totally forgot because we were just away for a week that I was like religiously listening to the Candace Owens podcast. I got in this habit where every night after I put Noli down, I'd turn because Candace Owens releases a podcast every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think she goes live on YouTube at 5, and then they have it published by the end of the night. And every Friday, she does a family day because she's a mom of 4 now, and then obviously the weekend. And her podcast is kind of like a news thing about whatever series she's talking about. So right now she's doing like the Brigitte Macron, like the French president's.
I can only listen to so much about the French president's wife's wiener. I'm done with that.
Uh,
I don't want to listen to.
I know, Matt's usually at work. He doesn't listen to it, but I really started liking getting in this group because it's not like I wasn't listening to an audiobook that was forcing me to think about things too hard. And I really don't like listening to fiction. I think the more I try to do it, it's just not my cup of tea.
I
And
don't have time for fiction in my life. There's so much nonfiction going on
yes,
that why do I need to get lost in fiction?
but I will say, like, that became, like, my thing that I was doing for, like, weeks, like, 2, 3 weeks consistently, and then just being on vacation, I didn't even bring my phone charger. Like,
I know you were like, "Where's the charging brick?"
no, you normally handle all the electronics and all those cables and stuff because you get the dog's collar and you get our cameras and stuff like that, but I didn't even bring my charger, and I took probably less than 50 photos in an entire week on my phone. Never once plugged in my phone overnight. I'd throw my phone on the portable charger into my beach bag during the day, and that's how my phone stayed charged, and I literally loved it.
It was awesome, and we finally brought like the real camera out and took like real pictures.
I loved it.
And it's nice to have like an iPhone that takes nice pictures and everything, but it just doesn't compare to like a real camera. Like
Does not compare. Those photos that you took on our trip make it look like a photographer followed us around, like, on our family
yeah, neat.
vacation. Yeah, and it's so nice because now we have those forever, and you captured so many beautiful.
It's a little bit of a pain to try and bring the camera everywhere, but it's nice to look back on the pictures.
This camera is like a camera. This camera was like a huge investment. We got it when we wanted to take
The business.
really nice photos of renovations that we did, and I dropped it
You
at
sure did.
Matt's truck bed onto the ground.
I don't have a little truck, so it felt quite a distance.
I just heard it like ting, 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 and I was like, "Was that your camera?" And you were like, "That's my camera." And then I just like, "Don't say anything." We pick it up. I think we're like walking to the beach or we got in the truck or something, and I was like, "So why don't we have a case on that if it's so expensive?" And you're like, "It does have a case on it. It has like a full metal case on it." He's like, "That's why it didn't just break when you dropped it." And I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
okay."
You may have scratched it a little bit, but
Yeah,
that's why I bought it pre-loved on eBay.
so
I
good.
don't have to worry about that.
Okay, well, even those pre-loved things are still
Very expensive.
a lot more money than I'm making right now as a stay-at-home mom. I'll just say that.
Yeah, maybe if you post another
500.
5,000 podcasts, we could cover it.
LOL. But anyways, it was really nice to have that, and I love that, like, every night, like, while I was putting the baby down, you would grab your iPad, you'd grab the SD card, you'd load it in, you'd quickly kinda go through, delete the ones that, like, okay, those ones don't work, and then instead of waiting until the end of the week and you have 5,000 pictures and you're like, "Oh my god, this is overwhelming, I don't even wanna edit it," and then it got really exciting because I think day by day as you were editing them, like, you were getting so like, "Oh my god, these look great," and that made you more excited, it made you wanna bring your camera and capture all these moments.
Even at the end of it, I was kinda like, I wish I brought it more to get." Like, we got tons of pictures of her and the dog, but, like, in the last couple days, I got, like, pictures of all the other people that we were with, and I was like, "I kinda wish I got more in the beginning." That way, like, we had pictures of everybody, but
Yeah, but now we know that for the future.
Yeah, but it still is, like, a burden to bring that thing around, constantly taking the lens cap off and adjusting the settings,
Yeah,
taking pictures, putting it away, worrying about somebody stealing it, leaving it on the beach, like
especially being on the beach, which sand scratches everything, gets in every little, like,
yeah,
organism.
I was, like, standing in water, like, almost chest deep taking pictures at one point. I was like, "This is kinda crazy."
Well,
But that adrenaline rush was, like, cooler than worrying about losing my camera.
yeah, so this week
Maybe we'll buy an underwater case next time.
okay.
Couple grand.
I really like that my husband says maybe we will buy an underwater case.
Yeah, well, this podcast could take off, you never know.
No, I just like that you include me in these decisions, that you know me, I'm gonna be like, "Sure, if you think we need it, let's get it." A couple things happened this week, like, it was, like, one, again, an adjustment of all 4 of us going. We got our own rental, which I loved, like, it was our 2nd year doing that, and last year we got our own rental with the dog. We should give a little recap on, like, why we go to Maine, like, how you always used to go with your family, then how we kinda, like, broke
Yeah.
away.
This was year 34 for me, going up to Ocean Park, Maine.
You've literally gone since you were 0?
I was, like, 6 months old, I think, the first time I went, or whatever. I was born in February, and then we went in, what, July or something? Whenever it was. But, yeah, every single year since I've been born.
That's amazing. When we got Volkie 4 years ago, the house that your family gets is not dog friendly. It's a part of the Ocean Park Association. So one of my friends came and stayed at our house for like 2 or 3 days, so we were able to go up for a little bit. But what your family really does is it's like an 8-day trip. It's a Saturday to Saturday, and they make a day out of like the beginning day and the last day. And that year was like sad, only going for a little bit. And
Yeah.
I think the year before that, or was it the year, like, one year we went twice because another week opened up, and that was such a cool summer.
That was intense.
That was awesome. The year after we got the dog, we ended up not going because we didn't get a rental ourselves because it was like it was just a completely different ballpark, like, it was a different animal, and we were like, "Do we wanna do this? Do we not wanna do it?" But we kinda really learned, like, the thing with our dog, he doesn't we don't do kennels. We don't do, like, dog boarding. I guess if we ever, like, went to Hawaii or somewhere, like, really far, we would have to we'd probably get a house sitter. I don't think we'll ever board him.
Take them to Hawaii and
I know
our rental house.
we talk a lot about how to get Wolfie to Hawaii. It's not because he would be the best hiking buddy. He would be the best adventure buddy.
It'd be super hot all the time with his black fur.
He literally today has, like, the worst depression ever because it's, like, no beach outside,
I can't hear the wind
no
outside the
playing.
window.
Yeah.
I don't know what he liked more, playing in the river and climbing mountains in New Hampshire
Uh-huh.
or hitting the beach.
I think he enjoyed the beach.
Yeah,
We last year got a rental. I was pregnant, and we got it on the other side of
town.
yes, and we kind of really didn't like that. Like, after where we stayed this year we were in this little, like
Well, last year was like a more of like a downtown experience. It was like we were right in the hustle and bustle. Everything's kind of busy over there. It's a quick walk to the boardwalk and the shops and the nightlife, but that's not really us. So we would take him every day all the way down to the beach, bring him back, and then do our thing. But now this year we got one on the other side of town. So basically, where we stay is in the middle, and then we were on one end, and now we moved to the other end. And now on this other end, it's like an even more slowed down, chill beach vibe or whatever.
it's like a little peninsula. It's like its own tiny little community, and I feel like there's, like, less than 100 houses.
Yeah.
And it was just so charming. It felt like a little bit of a movie. It felt like we got to plug into this, like, truly, like, place of escape. We had our own little place. It was redone. It's, like, all the right colors. It was light, and it was bright, and there were 10-foot ceilings, and
Foam green cabinets.
it was just enough.
See the ocean from our living room window.
You have the windows open all day. You catch a breeze all day. It was just
Live music playing at the outdoor bar behind us every night.
it was great. There's a restaurant right next door, but it's not, like, crazy, and you order food outside, and then you can eat in or eat in their back area with a ton of string lights and live music, and, like, the first night I got chowder and clam cakes. You don't eat seafood, but we went out one night, there with Noli and your parents and then Carrie and Doug, and it was just so nice, and I left, and I was like, "Okay, that was" it's a new spin on what that vacation looked like for you growing up, and even me joining you and your family for so many years, but we are our own family now, and kind of getting in our rhythm and groove of like, well, we have a baby now, and because it's a non-negotiable for you to bring our dog and for me, but you're like, this is where I draw the line. We are like defining what our new normal looks like, bringing our dog everywhere. And I think it's really cool because we're exploring Maine in a whole different way too.
Well, yeah, but just because we have him and he can't go to the beach during like normal beach hours, we would take him and her on a hike somewhere in the morning, or this was a little annoying, but he woke me up for sunrise basically every day because he was so amped.
You caught the sunrise 5 times
So I would
out of 7 nights.
take him out, he would go potty, whatever, and then I'd bring my camera with me, and next thing you know, I'm getting, like, beautiful sunrise pictures of the islands or the jetty or whatever, him, uh, and at the time, it sucked, but it also, like,
It was so
it
nice.
was super nice, yeah,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't do that on a normal day. I mean, if I work overnight or something, I see the sunrise, but
You
not
don't
on
get
a
to
jetty in Maine,
Yeah, and you don't get to see it with the ocean. Seeing a sunrise over the ocean is totally different than driving into work and seeing the sunrise. I think last year was really cool because even being, like, closer to the downtown area, that was our first experience of, like, "All right, what does this routine look like?" Like, last year, we were able to wake up early, I'd get ready, you'd get him situated, we'd go out on a hike, and very many of the mornings, we were on the beach setting our stuff up around 9 o'clock before or after. Some mornings you would run down the whole length of the beach. I would take your truck with all our beach stuff. I was pregnant. We'd meet up. The dog would play. You'd play fetch for an hour, swim, and then we'd bring him back to the house. But all our stuff was already set up on the beach. And then we'd go back and have a beach day. This year, we did a really good job of prior to going, talking about like, well, what are our expectations? And like, what is our kind of reality, our new normal look like? Because we have a child who has a schedule. She needs naps. And we're not like a timeline, like, hey,
at
it's
all.
10 o'clock, time for her nap kind of people. But
You're like, "Oh, she's rubbing her eyes, time for a nap."
yeah, this week, I feel like it started off good because one of the first nights she went down at 7 o'clock and she slept for 12 hours straight and she only woke up because the dog woke her up. And I was like, dude, this is going to be the best week ever. It's going to be cake. She's going to sleep. Like she's going to be so tired from spending the whole day on the beach. It slowly got worser and worser as the days went on with her because she was just slipping into oblivion of like, nap missed after falling asleep in the car seat for 5, 10 minutes. Like it was,
Followed by teeth pushing through.
then she's teething wicked bad. These 2 teeth are coming through heavy, heavy. She like they spike a fever. When I was actually talking to your mom this morning, I said how she woke up yesterday an hour and a half after I put her down in a full sweat. Like she was soaking wet. I was like, how does she pee all over her arms? And I'm like, oh, no, she didn't have an accident. She's sweating this hard. And I think her fever broke from her teeth. Like your baby is fussy. You as the parents need to know like when to call it. Like, hey, my child is like really having a hard time.
That's
I know.
probably what the hardest thing to do,
What do you mean?
to just call it and be like, because you just wanna have fun, you're on vacation, you're trying to keep up with all the same things you've done before, and now all of a sudden you just gotta be like, "Yeah, but she needs to go to bed."
I think it was a little easier for me. Like, I didn't feel like I think I felt a lot more pressure from other people of like, well, I'll just hold her. It's okay. She'll be fine. And even if someone else holds her or was like entertaining her, for me, it was, but we're going to pay the price when we bring her home because she will be so positively exhausted. Our baby is not a baby that she's so tired that then she racks out. Our baby is a baby that she is so tired that she can't sleep and she will make everyone pay. So we had a lot of that,
Mm.
especially towards the end. And then it was wicked funny because the last night that we had, she was crying a lot. She cried for 2.5 hours until she finally fell asleep. And this is how you know that they're in like a pain stage. Like she is 7 days of missing naps, and everything getting screwed up, falling asleep in the car 2 minutes from the hike, waking up, staying awake for a whole hour and a half hike. Like there were 2 or 3 days where as an 8-month-old baby, she didn't even nap a cumulatively 1 hour for the whole day, and that compounded day after day after, like, a week of being out of routine. She and being in pain, teething, she was miserable, but she also did her best. Like, I was actually really proud of her.
She was to the point where she was just like compulsively crying in her sleep, and, like,
Mhm.
she's fully asleep, but screaming her head off.
Yeah, and, like,
What are you doing?
inchworming along all over the bed. To some degree, you just call it in the middle of the night and you bring her in bed with us, and then Saturday morning, she, like, sits up and she's, like, awake, but not, and then she just starts crawling on the cushions, and she's crawling, 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 and then she just face plants, and her butt's in the air, and her face is down here, and then she just stops moving, and you're sleeping, and I'm watching her, and I'm like, "Oh my god, she just was literally wiggling around and just passed out, face down, butt up." And then, shortly after then, had the biggest blowout ever. All over both legs, up the back, up the front. You shoot out of bed, you take her, you walk her into the bathtub, you place her down, we strip
Throw
her,
away her
we
clothes.
throw everything out, that onesie's done, and then she had bath time for, like, half an hour, and then she slept for, like, 7:30 to 10 when we basically had to wake her up because we
It's
checkout
time
was
to
at 10,
leave, yeah.
and that's how you knew she was so tired, and she slept like that, and then she slept almost the whole way home, like, she woke
Yeah,
up
we
a couple
stopped at a
times.
park and did, like, a micro picnic, and
Mhm.
then that was it. She
The
basically
micro
slept the whole time,
What would you say was the biggest challenge with Noli?
dealing with her sleep schedule.
Yeah. I think I really started the beginning of the week with, like, a false sense of, like,
Hopeful.
"This is gonna be great."
She's just not like some babies. I guess you could just lay down in a tent at the beach and they would just sleep for like she hears other kids playing, she hears the sound, she hears all these things, and she sleeps for 30 minutes. Next thing you know, she's just sitting up looking around like, I want to be involved in this.
Even getting her to sleep at the beach is hard because you're, like, rocking her, you're singing, Noli girl," like, you're singing a song to her, you have a sound machine in your hand, you have
Blanket draped over her.
a blanket, yeah, covering her eyes, and she's just crying, and you're walking around in your bathing suit, rocking her like crazy, and, like, everybody's looking around, and the moms get it, they know, but she goes down so much easier at home when she's in her environment,
Yeah.
and you're just like, "Okay, this is gonna be a long week." I said this to you, like, on our drive home. If there's one thing I could have done different, I still enjoyed our week. I loved spending time with you. I loved having the experience of, like, the first summer with her because despite that being the worst part, we still made, like, a great time of it.
Yeah, we went to the beach, she played in the water, the dog played in the water, she had clam chowder.
Oh my god, her having clam
Yeah.
chowder was so cute.
Multiple days of like matching outfits with
I
you,
know, that was so fun too.
played with cousins.
If there's one thing I could have done differently, or I could go back and do differently, because next year we're gonna have a different kid, meaning Noli's gonna be 1.5 next year, or older than 1.5. We're gonna be in new territory. But I wish after our hike every single morning, just went back to our cottage and stayed there with her and let her get in one good nap, and then went and joined everybody at the beach in the afternoon at whatever time that is. Because I think she would always fall asleep on the way to the hike, then stay awake the whole hike. So she'd sleep between 2 to 10 minutes on the way to a hike, and then she'd fall asleep on the drive home for again, it always by chance be when the GPS had 2 minutes from our destination. And then she's not you can't transfer her easily, so she wakes up, and then I think I should have made more of an effort to try to get her back down in our room. Let her even if it was just an hour is better than nothing. So many times we would get home, get ready for the beach, and go because 'cause we'd have to drop off the dog, we'd pack up lunch, so she'd stay awake for that. So it'd be like 11, noon no, like 10 between 10:30 and noon, depending on how the morning went, and our kid will have slept under 10 minutes.
Yep.
She's 0, and she would wake up every single day at, like, 6.
And at home, she'll take like a 2 hour nap in the morning.
2 hours. When she has sleep debt, she'll sleep 3 hours, so that was it's not always gonna be perfect, and I'm a mom for the first time too. I just wish
I'm also a mom for the first time too.
I wish I could have, like, looked back and observed a little bit better for myself and been like, "Hey, Anastasia," because I already had the intention. I was like, "Oh, I'll probably leave the beach every single day and go back to the house and let her have a good nap," but I wasn't thinking like, "Oh, let me do that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon." I should have just done it right after our hike.
Yeah. Well, it's also hard. Like the place we were staying isn't exactly in walking distance to the beach. So it's like, okay, I'm going to have to take the truck, which is a big thing for you to drive that has surfboards attached to it, which makes it even longer. And then you got to take it, drive it all the way back to the cottage, then find a new place when you come back for parking, which isn't the easiest thing to do
Mhm.
because the beach there isn't like a beach in Rhode Island with like parking lots. It's you got to find parking on the street somewhere. But we said next year we'll get a moped and you can just scoot around,
Yeah.
park it at a bike rack.
I don't know if camping kind of got us ready for stuff really going downhill, but still having a good time.
I was expecting her this week at the beach to be worse.
Yeah.
Just because camping was so bad. But like I don't remember camping being like I know it was bad, but I don't remember it being bad. I just remember the fun times that we had when we were there. And that was only like last month.
My favorite part of camping was just seeing everyone. Camping was really rough with her.
Don't remember. I think it was perfect.
She
We
literally
should go again.
we are gonna go again, but she didn't sleep for 3 days, and then we didn't sleep the night before we left because 'cause we're packed like, it was such a haze that that's what I remember because
Gotten so good at just like existing on no sleep lately.
but those are so much harder because those are the ones that knock me all like, it's like, "Sit the down." I'm like, "Whoa, how are we like, in this place?" Like, this is so bad. It's not like, "Oh, she was fussing twice last night and I got up with her." It's like, I was existing on 4 to 5 hours sleep for 8 days in a row.
Mhm.
I felt like that was torture. That's what I remember of that. Camping was still nice, but I remember we were driving home from camping and both of us were, like, looking at each other like, "We should not be driving right now. We are so freaking tired." And then we
Yep.
couldn't pull over because she was finally freaking sleeping.
Yeah.
And they are like, "We can't wake her up." Now are you remembering?
It's slightly refreshing my mind, but I
Cue Celine Dion's like, "It's all coming back,
no, it's not.
coming back to me now."
All I remember was life was good. We should do it again.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what else? Oh, let's talk about Hurricane Erin.
What do you want to talk about? We missed it at home. That was kind of tough. Like checking the week before we went, I was on Surfline and I'm like watching the waves and I'm seeing these forecasts like, oh, the storm's going to come and it's bringing these huge waves to the East Coast. Things are going to look great for like the Long Island, Rhode Island area, like even up to out to the Cape and everything. Like waves are looking awesome. So then I like slide over in the app over to Maine, see how it's going to look while we're up there. And it's like flat or 2-foot waves or whatever. So I had this like little bit of depression around that. And I'm not like a good surfer or anything, but like I love a good storm. I love big waves. Even if I can only get out and catch like one or two of them, just being around them is like something cool and exciting.
You wanted to come home.
I like legit wanted to come home. First half of the week, the waves were like decent, like pretty good at home, but nothing crazy. And then I think probably by what, Tuesday or Wednesday, they started getting like huge at home. And I'm sitting on the beach in Maine, looking at the flat ocean with like 1-footers coming in or something. And I'm looking at my phone at the app and I'm just watching guys like 6, 7-foot waves, like perfect conditions, like beautiful, crazy lineup filled with people. And I wouldn't say it made me sad, but it was just kind of like, man, this sucks. Like every time I go on vacation to Maine, waves end up being better at home than they are up there. And that wouldn't be the biggest deal, but now that we have a kid and a dog and I work so much, I don't make time like I used to when I was younger. Like I'd be on that app and I'd be looking like, oh, waves are gonna be good next week. I'm gonna plan my whole week around making sure I can get to the beach on this day and this day or whatever. I wouldn't miss all of the days. I'd catch at least one every time like a good system came through. Now, like I don't take the time for myself to go do that when things look good. So I just happen to take that week off to go to the beach every year. And it just so happens that every year when I take that week off and I go up to Maine, things are better back at home.
It really kind of was the past, like, 5 times I think we've gone to Maine. The waves are better at home than they are at Maine, and this year, we're kind of like, "You've gotta be kidding me. Like, this is a sick joke."
Yeah, because some of this was like when some of the best swell in a long, long time.
But you did get a chance.
So Wednesday came around and we went down to Moody Beach and it wasn't the cleanest conditions, but like waves were pretty decent. Things were looking good. Then we went back up the next day, the next 2 days to Old Orchard. The waves were good. They didn't put a red flag warning up at the beach. It was only like a yellow whatever, so they still let people in the water. Some beaches around there did have like all swimming closed. I know the beaches in Rhode Island had all swimming closed, but we got in there. I got some really good waves. I got beat up a little bit because I took the paddleboard out and waves were probably a little too big for that paddleboard, but I caught some really good waves. I had a good time. Had a little scuffle with one of the lifeguards because I didn't have a life jacket on, which is ridiculous, but
No,
whatever.
nice choice of word.
Yeah. You see how I changed that up?
I was like, "Yo, is he gonna say that on here?"
So he made me go get a leash, which I put on, and then he told me if you want to be in water deeper than your chest, you have to have a
And it was like
PFD on. And I was like, okay, buddy, I'll go get a leash.
and it was a kid like my brother's age.
Yeah, he was like 16, a little pudgy kid who wouldn't be able to save me anyway.
And that's where my husband's rebel tendencies come out at him, buddy. And it was wicked funny because when you were going to your truck to get the leash, I was talking with Jen, another girl who married into the family, and I was like, huh, now that I understand my husband a little bit more with the rebel tendencies, we'll probably never come back to this beach, even though he's been coming here his entire life, because he's going to be officially pissed off forever now.
That's not true. I
What
did think about it though for the rest of the trip.
you said, it's like the kid was like nice, but it's just like out of principle. Like he's just like, "Oh, you can't do that."
Yeah, don't tell me what to do. You're not my mom,
Exactly.
and my mom can't tell me what to do either.
Yeah, you're a grown man now.
Yep.
Only your wife can tell you what to do,
Only my wife can try to tell me what to do, and I'll pretend to listen.
and he doesn't anyways.
Only because I want to, not because you told me to.
Not because he fears my wrath.
Nobody's afraid of your wrath,
A lot of people are afraid of my wrath.
as they should be.
I'm afraid of the dog's wrath. Anyways, what else? Okay, something else that was really cool was you could see the beach from our window in our rental. It was 2 houses away from us, and like it was a diagonal view. And
And you could hear the waves.
yes, talk about coming home being like, this freaking bites not listening to the ocean all day, every day.
Coming home to like a beautiful house in the woods with like a great view and the sound of the woodland creatures.
It's just something intoxicating about the ocean. There's something intoxicating about the ocean.
That nasty low tide smell and the
Oh yeah, I already forgot about that.
it actually wasn't that bad there at all.
Us when we're like, oh, the dog's breath smells like a lobster.
Yeah, it literally his breath smelled like lobster every day.
But one of the coolest things about the storm happening when it did is they started blocking off some of the roads in this little like island. It's not an island, peninsula, yeah, that we were on. And then this place, we were at Camp Ellis. Is that okay to say?
Yeah.
And there is like a beach there that we thought like, oh, it's a dog friendly beach. It's great. We'll bring the dog there every morning. And based on where high tide and low tide fell during the day while we were there, you went the first day and you were like, oh, this beach is like nothing like what I thought. Like it's tiny. It's like the tiniest stretch of beach. And there's all these
It's like between two little jut outs or jetties. So it's like it's a little sandy area between the two, which at low tide is pretty decent because they have pretty significant tides up there. But at high tide, you had about 30 feet of sand until you hit the water.
And then what are those things called that they had like,
Jersey barriers?
yeah, lining the road? And then they had the sand built up to literally the top of it. So
So the beach was the Jersey barriers were like a retaining wall, and then the sand probably got trucked in and put in there to just try and
gives
smooth out the transition.
and give people some beach, because we would be driving to the beach or to a hike every morning, and like your truck is really high and I'm sitting and I'm like literally like I could stick my arm out and touch a person
Squeeze the
who's
butt of somebody sitting in a beach chair.
it would I'm like, that would suck for that to be like your beach experience. But then the day that we were leaving, a bunch of the roads were closed because the storm went heavy on like Friday, Saturday up there.
Night, yeah.
And over the course of the night, the tide, I guess, got so high that it just blew right into is that it?
That wind
Crash.
usually blows, yeah.
It crashed into the street and so much sand piled up. It was crazy. It was like
Yeah, the whole road
as tall as cars.
by that beach got completely like washed out. And then the beach had a drop. So the sand up by the Jersey barriers was here, and then it dropped like 3 feet down because it all got sucked out. And then as the tide came in, it pushed it up over the wall. But even the end of our street, they came the day before that storm. They put up a little like barrier or whatever. We're wondering what they were doing. They had an excavator out putting in more well, basically giant concrete like mafia blocks. They built all that up. And we're like, this isn't going to be that crazy, is it? Then the next day, like even as we were leaving, there's people down at the end of the street going to take pictures, and they're like standing up by the rocks. And next thing you know, a set comes in, wave smashes in, and then they got completely soaked, and it like sprayed over the whole road, put some sand and gravel up there.
Well,
Nothing crazy, but like the ocean water was definitely like running down the streets, which is
people forget how strong like the ocean is. And even when we were leaving, we were 30 minutes behind with checkout because like Noli was sleeping till 10. And then we're like firm believers in always leaving something better than we found it. So we did like a really good job cleaning it because it was like a week of shuttling in sand. And even midweek, you cleaned the floors a couple times. We brought a vacuum with us because we just knew it was going to be a sandy mess with the dog. But we were talking to the guy who owns the Airbnb, and him and the guy who is our next door neighbor at the rental who owns the restaurant right next door. They were watching the people who were standing next to the rocks, and then like the huge wave came over and just pummeled them and they got soaking wet, and they were like, people seem to forget that like rocks come over that way and like you can get really, really hurt. So You know, they're locals, they know it, but I think that really added to the experience of it felt like
You were, like, battling the storm, but not really.
well, you're right there, and something about the peninsula that we were in, it didn't feel like Narragansett with the beach. It didn't feel like Block Island is an island, it's much bigger. It was just this tiny little slice of heaven, and you know that everybody who lives there is, like, living their own little paradise, and it's this little community, and it was just
It
amazing.
was intoxicating.
Literally,
You
I
loved
loved
it.
it.
Yeah.
Loved it, loved it, loved it. So I always love, especially stuff like that. You and I end up having like the best conversations. We have so many like Costa Cabin dreams that we share and like things that we talk about. And one of my favorite things to always do is I'm like, okay, when we like last year we did this with our rental, and then this year we did it when we drive home. I'm like, all right, if we were redoing these places, okay, you walk through the front door, go. What would you do? And it's really fun to see like what you would like to see tied into something, what I would like to see tied into something, but something that we've especially noticed this year that I said, I'm like, regardless of where we say, you and I are both about the experience, and we both
Mm.
want, like, if that was our rental being seaside, it would just have more of that charm, I guess, like built into it.
Yeah, we definitely go, like, heavy on the themed experience kinda thing.
Yes, not tacky, like
No.
well done.
Maybe some beautiful pictures of the sunrise at that jetty or
Mhm.
waves crashing over during a hurricane or
Yes.
ever like, artwork and stuff like that. Like, we both said, "Oh, it looks kinda like somebody just went to Savers and picked out."
Well, like, okay,
They
so
did a good job. They
yes,
did a good job, but
I want to
nothing
say
is over the top.
But I wanna say, so last year, the place that we stayed was, like, fully redone. There was a mini split system, the place was nice and air conditioned, it had, like, a massive fridge, new cabinets, it was new. It lacked something. Like, it just
Je ne sais quoi.
yes. This place was not like, this was redone, and I don't know when it was
Definitely
redone,
older.
but it felt so much better than the place we stayed at last year, and it was still similar square footage. It was like a one-bedroom apartment, but it was like original cabinets that they painted like a seafoam green. It was like a smaller fridge, you know, where the fridge is on the bottom and the freezer's on top. The fridge last year that we had, it was like double
But
doors,
yeah,
pull-out freezer. Like, we could really fill it with our food for the week because we cook a lot of steaks, we cook a lot of burgers. Like, we like to just still eat well and feel good while we're on vacation.
this place had a small oven.
We didn't even use the stove. Yeah, we, like, brought our own grill, but the color scheme, like, the walls were, like, a tan color, the trim was a bright white, the bathroom was even blue, but the perfect ocean blue, like,
Everything was a little bit more lived in and worn, but it was worn well.
worn well, and it just gave that charm, and I think it's because it had 10-foot ceilings, and I think it's because you could open the windows and hear the ocean, and it just felt light and bright, and, like, it's like that was what they were going with. So, they had these built-ins around the TV in the living room where it's like how the wall came out, they had built-ins with, like, 3 different shelves and then a bay at the bottom on each side, and they were like,
Knickknacks.
huh?
Knickknacks.
Yeah, but at the bottom, they were, like, 2 big agave plants, and then there was, like a fish ceramic thing and then like a little mirror and a vase. So
Pieces of coral.
the way that it looked and like the books in the house were like all beach themed books. It was very cute and like the furniture was white. And you know what? They had white chairs. They had like chairs in the living room that had white slip covers, and that made a huge difference because visually, like, that is beach house. And I think if they were dark, like, mismatched furniture would have made it feel gross. Like the house we had last year, it was a dark gray couch. And I get why you would have a dark gray couch for renters, but having white chairs and allowing dogs, yeah, Volkie got paw prints on it, but they're gonna pull it off and wash it. And that made such a difference for us all week of like just being in this light and bright area. And there were 2 ceiling fans, like massive ones in the living room and kitchen, so you could really get the air flowing. But I had even said, I'm like, it looks like they kind of went like thrifting and got like little like art pieces that kind of work with an ocean seaside theme and plug them all in here, but it didn't feel nasty. Like, it felt so cute. And you were like, this is kind of making me want to go like and have like a little competition of like who could find better stuff. And it
Mm,
like that was really fun.
yeah. Let's get a beach house.
Let's get a beach house.
We should talk about a GoFundMe where we're doing, like, a beach house for Noli, and people can help chip in if they wanna be part of that. And then what we'll do is we'll film once we buy the beach house, we'll, like, split the house in half, and we'll film, like, you do one half and I do the other half, and it'll be like a competition to see who likes how we did the beach house better.
So Matt would like to start a GoFundMe for us to get a beach house for Noli, not for us, for Noli.
Yeah, no, it's not. This isn't like this is just because we would have to have the capital to buy the beach house.
Yes. So where are our angel investors?
Yeah, I'm not asking for you guys in particular to give us the money, but
Just anyone you know with lots of wads of money who love sweet little girls like Magnolia in the purest ways.
yeah, you know what? Scratch that. You guys are fucking creeps.
Basically, that was what our past week was like. It was a lot, but it was great. And you and I, still looking back, would do it. If I had to do it again and I couldn't change anything, I would still do it. Like if I couldn't.
Well, yeah, it's a vacation.
Yes, but actually, this is something I wanted to say. I was talking to your mom on the beach one day, and she talked about how her whole, like, when you guys were kids, because it's like right now, all your cousins, everybody's having kids. So it's like, if it's not one kid crying, it's a different kid crying. It's this kid missing their nap. It's this kid off their routine, whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Miss Sue, like, what was this like for you guys when you guys were all coming here and growing your families? And
She's one of 9.
and your mom was like, "I don't remember the hard. Like, I don't remember any of that stuff. I just only remember the good times." And
Well, imagine my mom. Imagine how I look back on camping last month, and now my mom looking back on going to the beach 30 years ago.
oh, like you already
But
forgot the
you
hard.
know how many hard things I already forgot in 1 month versus all the hard things you'll forget 30 years from now.
And you know
I'm
what?
only gonna remember, like, the absolute highlights of the beach trip.
But also, isn't that parenthood? Because so much of becoming parents was hard, and we were grappling with our new identities. Like, it was such a slow rollout in the beginning, and you love your baby so much, but it was so freaking hard. And
Still kinda sucks, but it's also the best.
yeah, okay, but even right now, like her screaming last night, right? I know she's in so much pain, and you feel for your baby so much. And then, like,
Then I come home and find her sleeping next to you this morning like this.
they're just so cute. And I think we're like at that tipping point. Like, I think we're at that place as parents.
Talking about giving her a brother or sister.
Okay, I will say too, one of Matt's cousins is pregnant right now, and she's due in 2 months. And we're at the beach, and I'm remembering what it was like being pregnant last year. And I'm like, I miss being pregnant. And I was like, I'm ovulating. If we got pregnant right now,
Put your pants back on.
if I got pregnant right now, we'd have a May baby. My birthday is in May. I'm like, and this is like riding the high after Noli slept 12 hours, like one of the first nights we were on vacation. I'm like, we said like we'd wait until she's 3, but let's just do it. I'm like, we'll figure it out. Like, you're on that
All you.
vacation high. Is all me, 100% me, sober me, by the way, like not inebriated. I'm just like, we could do it and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, listen, girl, slow down. Cause you're also working 90 hours a week. So you're like, I don't want to be an absent father of 2, basically. And then we proceeded to have such a challenging week that, like, every single night that I didn't sleep, I was like, wow, thank God one of us has like a sound mind. Because if I did get pregnant, I would be like crying. I'd be like,
I think regardless of when it happens again, if it happens again, which it probably will happen again. I sound like Trump.
God willing.
You will be happy and you'll be sad and you'll cry happy tears and sad tears and the whole 9 because you're just an emotional creature.
I will say, so I listened to a podcast a couple weeks ago by Chrissy Horton and Lila Rose. And Chrissy Horton is someone that I was following on Instagram. She's like a Catholic girl, but her whole account is just being your friend in motherhood. Like, being your big sis in motherhood. She thought she was a one and done kind of girl. She thought people with big families were weird. She was like, I don't understand it, whatever. She's now a mom of 6, and her husband, like, she's like, through diving more into my faith, like, we just decided to be open to life. And like, she did this thing on like giving her womb to God, which for me, it's not even like any judgment or like not even allowing myself to formulate any thoughts around it. Like, that is their choice. And when it's faith-based too, it was really interesting to learn their take on it. And anyways, listening to this podcast with them and them kind of talking about where each of their minds were at different stages, because she was like, I was so a one and done kind of mom. And she's like, and thank God changed my heart. And I didn't stay there because, some of her kids, like, she got pregnant too quickly because she was still breastfeeding and she hadn't gotten her period yet. So she didn't even know how she got pregnant and things like that. So it was just interesting to cover, but it's made me think about, like, having a baby is so much more than just like having a good time with your husband. And it made me really think about the magic or, like, the wonder and the majesty and, like, I guess the miracle of what that really entails, and it really makes me think about the specialness of, like, being married to the person I love more than anything, and then we have this opportunity, like, we have this gift from God to bring a life into this world, and it's amazing.
You always say like, "Oh my god, you're, like, obsessed with her eyes," but, like, I look at her eyes and I'm like, "Okay, I see you in her eyes, I see me," like, we came together and made these out of nowhere.
She's such a little stinky girl. You're crying too, like, she's the best. She's the best, and it's just I just can't believe that in the beginning, there was so much hard. You're gonna be okay. Don't worry, I'm only gonna put the camera on me. I will defend your honor. But it's just so magical, and then despite, like, no matter how hard stuff has gotten with Noli, I always
Ay, ay, ay.
and then I just something that I thought a lot about this week is despite how hard of times I'd have with Magnolia, I would think, like, my mom went through this with me, and Matt's mom went through that with him, and I just think about if I let myself stay in the place of when it was so freaking hard with Noli in the beginning, and we decided to be one and done, and I led with that pain and that fear,
Imagine if you just made me get snipped right back then.
like, I hope to God that he blesses us with, like, a lot of kids and that we're in a place in our life where we can do it.
Yeah, I don't wanna have more kids than I can take care of, but
Yes, but I don't, like, even think of 2, and it's gonna be different because
it's
it's
just crazy because you were like we both were kinda like, "Do we even have kids? Did we do this?
yes, and we even after having Noli at the height of the heart, it'd be like, "Okay, well,
Why did we do this?"
if we have a boy next, then we could be done because we'll have one of each." And now I'm like, "Well, like, she needs a sister." Like, and then if we have a boy, he needs a brother, and that very quickly changes
That
from
ain't
just
the
1 or 2.
love.
No, because everything works out with God. Like, everything there's been no time in our life that things haven't worked out with him, and there's been times where we felt like, "How the heck are we gonna do this?" And he's always pulled us through, and same thing with kids. Like, every single one of my aunts and uncles and even my parents, everybody came here with nothing. Everybody had 5 kids, 6 kids, 4 kids. Everybody figured it out. Nobody lived on welfare. Nobody collected from the government. Everybody figured it out. Like,
Mhm.
God always provides. And I know, I just remind myself like
Nothing makes you, rise to the occasion like necessity.
that. And I made a promise to myself that how hard taking care of Magnolia solely was in the beginning because you're working so much to allow me the opportunity to be home with her. That was hard for me in the beginning because I was like, but I want to go work. Like, I want to go do things. We were driving by a house and the roofers were re-roofing it in Maine, and I was like, "Oh God, wish I could just go roof a house one day." And you were like, "What?" I'm like, "I just want to do something with my hands, have somebody else watch the baby." And then you were like, "Okay." And I was like, "Just make $1 zillion." Like, it's like you like utilizing that part of you. But I know that this is a time of sacrifice for our family. And like, you're sacrificing by being at work more, and I'm sacrificing by raising our daughter and like helping her have the most stable first few years of her life. And what a gift like you're giving me and God's giving us to be able to do that. And but I just will say when more kids it was like going back to work. I honestly told my boss, I think I have about a year to give you because when I have 2 kids, I'm not going to be finding sitters to like go work a couple hours here, work a couple hours there. It's not going to financially make sense, I think, for either person to just have like an employee that's 90% out the door.
Yeah.
I do think by the time that comes, like I said I would like to be in a different place where you can be available more to like because I want you to be able to be with the family because when you're home, it's totally different. All of my peers, like all my friends, their husbands come home every night. These people work 9 to 5s. They parent together at night. Kids are in daycare during the day while mom's at work, dad's at work, and they're parenting together. I'm solo parenting a lot.
Mm.
A lot. Sometimes 4.5 day stretches totally alone. It's a lot. And like, it's my first time going through it. So the baby being fussy, the baby teething, the baby getting sick, it's a lot. But the second time it's gonna be easier because I'll know what to expect. But the second time it would be great if like our life was just positioned a little bit differently and daddy was home more because it's like it's going to be different because each of us, it's they say people stop a lot at 2 because they don't want to be outnumbered. I realized this vacation, a third kid, we will be outnumbered because anywhere we go, you wrangle the dog.
No, a second kid will be outnumbered, is what you realized. Because right now, I handle the dog and you handle the baby. So
Yeah. What did I
you
say?
said a third.
Oh, yeah, because I'm already viewing the dog as a kid.
Yeah.
It literally is like he is so wild and his drive is so high that I noticed that the night that we went to like play fetch with him on the beach when you had him and there was a lot of people around. He's good. He's so well behaved, but he's a baby. He's so excited.
It's 4, but yeah.
He's 4, so he's like 28. But he just, and I was really like, wow, if we have a second kid, the dynamic is going to change where maybe sometimes the dog is going to have to stay home. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe Noli will be like, if we do wait and she's a little older, it'll be easier to navigate like a 3-year-old and a baby and the dog. And Volkie will be like, he'll be 6, 7.
He's not going to age past 5.
Yes, he'll stay forever young. But yeah, it's just, but you know what? You don't even like God figures it all out. You figure it out in due time. I'm glad we didn't get pregnant this vacation because I do think I'd be a little too stressed. Even driving home, I was like, you'd have to get a new truck if we had another baby because 2 car seats wouldn't fit in that car.
Yeah, he takes up 2 back seats. She takes up 1. And then
I have to sit super straight up, like it's super, super straight up.
can't even put her car seat behind my seat because my knees would be hitting the steering wheel. So next thing you know, we're buying a minivan. You did drive a minivan on vacation very briefly.
When?
And
Oh, I'm sorry. When I pulled it out of a parking spot, you're on.
but I saw you in the driver's seat and I was like, she said she'd never drive a minivan. Here she is.
Shame on you. How dare you?
We were at Costco in Maine. There's just a Honda Odyssey, like parked inside, a red one.
And we were
And I was like,
out winning it.
I'm like, look at that. You enter a competition and you win a red minivan, just like your mom used to drive when you were a kid and you swore to never drive.
No, I'm not. We'll get an SUV because we'll need something with like really, really big backspace because like your mom said it today because I was like, oh, if we have another kid, Matt, we'll have to get another truck. And your mom goes, or you'll need to get a bigger SUV and you guys just take that on family vacations. And I'm like, true. But I would also like a new SUV, I would have to make more than $0 a week, which is pretty much what I'm making right now. Just kidding. I work
I was thinking that too. Yeah. If you were going to get a new SUV, you'd have to start an OnlyFans or something, like a cooking one.
Yeah, no, or then I'd have to get like a boob job and then
Yeah. Or find an old man who just wants to send you money just for being who you are.
companionship. Yeah, this episode is taking a turn for the worse. We're talking about how I want to go back to church, and then you're like, you need to start an OnlyFans so you can buy.
I'll do it too.
This is what we'll do. We'll put my face on the OnlyFans, but we'll put your feet.
There we go.
So, anyways, I think we pretty much covered it all. What was your highlight of probably the past week?
It's just spending time with my family.
What was
Waves.
what was your low point?
Probably someone like the last night when she was just screaming her head off for apparently no reason. I guess she was in pain, but
It's just hard when you
rough.
can't help them. Yeah. My high point was just getting to spend time with you because I literally like we can drive up to Maine. We can spend 4+ hours in the car and the radio never even goes on and we're just talking and it's just like a dream.
That's your dream.
It's
You should have brought the cameras and just filmed the conversation on the way.
we could have done a podcast like that. I was actually thinking about that because some of the deep talks we were having, I was like,
But on the road again.
this could be podcast material. But that's just what it is for me because honestly, the nature of your job, like when you're at work, I can send a text here or there of like a picture of the baby, but we don't.
I mean, you do definitely call me more than anybody else's wife.
Damn, a girl's got to try.
Yeah.
Oh, so a girl just wants to remind you how much she loves you. Sue me. How about last night when I FaceTimed you? You were working overnight and Noli like knows her dad. Oh my God. And then what happened this morning?
What was this morning?
Okay, so I FaceTimed you yesterday and you're saying goodnight to her. You're like, good night, my angel. And she's like looking at the phone and then smiling because she recognizes it's daddy's voice. And then she's like looking. It's just so cute. But this morning after she woke up, I was taking her out of our room so you could sleep. And I pulled the blinds down and I pick her up and I have her on my hip. And she looks at you and she goes, Dada. Your eyes shot open, my eyes shot open, and you literally, like, we both go like, oh my gosh. And then you go,
I don't think she was really saying it, but it sounded like it for sure.
it did. I think she was just saying da, 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 but she only said da, da. and she looked at you, and then you're like and then you look at me and you're like, "Mama, mama."
Yeah,
I'm like
don't say that.
I'm like, "It's okay because I love you too," you know, and it was so sweet and so special, and I was like, "Daddy."
She's definitely not old enough to start talking, though.
But it's so cute, and you can tell at this age, like, her gears are going. Your mom is, like, in amazement today. She crawled up on a chair at your mom's house. She's, like, walking down the chair, and then she's turning, and moving her feet, and now she's only resting her back up against the chair, and her arms are fully out, and she's playing with things, and she's standing, and she's using the back of the chair to balance herself, and your mom is like,
She's an animal,
"She's gonna be walking in no time," and you walked at 9 months.
and I don't want her walking at 9 months.
We'll see. We still have, like, a lot of
I
baby
still have
birthing to do.
I have to order her the Strider bike and a bunch of other stuff.
We need to, like, build guardrails for the
It's
stairs.
not stuff I'm worried about.
I am. Oh, yeah, because 'cause you're never home. You're busy working.
I just built her playpen yesterday, put her in there.
That prison, I put her in there last night, so I put her down at 8, at 9:30, she woke up soaking wet with sweat, but immediately fell asleep on me, transferred her back in her crib, and then by 10:30, she was up, like, screaming in a lot of pain. So I was like, "Okay." I took her out of her room, the lights are dim in the house, but I'm trying to get her out of her trance, and she's, like, looking around and, like, waking up, but then going back to crying, so I brought her downstairs, we had to take the dog out, feed him dinner, it was, like, a whole thing, I was getting lost unpacking from camping or from the beach week. Volkie was doing good, he was sleeping, so we do that, we take him out, I put her in that playpen, and she is like it has that mesh netting like a pack and play, she's just, like, shoving her face on it and screaming, and I'm like, "Hmm, this is probably what Josh meant when he said crying doesn't bother him anymore." Like,
Mm.
I feel for her, I know she's not neglected, but I'm like, "Baby, I will be right there, I'm making you a bottle, I'm finishing up with the dog, I'm getting everyone ready," and
She's needy just like her mom.
she was acting like that place was a prison.
Mhm.
But then she slept so good in our bed last night. She literally only woke up once crying, and the dog, I think, barked at 4 AM or something, barking loud, and I was, like, kicking him with my feet. I'm like, "Volkie," and she, like, looked and then laid right back down and went to sleep. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Tess." And then we got up at what, 7:30?
I came home at 7.
Yeah, so that's probably why I feel great today. Her and I basically slept 11:30 to 7:30.
I came home at 7, and normally I think this is the first time ever the dog hasn't met me at the door, and I was like, "That's weird, he must be, like, locked in the room." I figured you shut the door so he couldn't get out, and he's, like, freaking out in there waiting to go see me, so I quietly walk up the stairs. The door's not actually, like, locked, it's just, like, pulled closed, but you could push it open. I push it open, and I look over at him, and he's freaking bracked out, full asleep, just didn't wake up to me coming home, didn't hear me shut the car door, didn't hear me lock the truck, didn't hear me unlock our front
And it
door.
beeps, yeah.
All because you're playing the sound of ocean waves and he thinks he's back on vacation. He's probably dreaming about running down the beach on low tide.
I think that's the treat. Like, we need to have the ocean waves on the sound machine because I left it on for you and you racked out and slept for like 7 hours, and that was great.
Or we need to buy a house near the ocean.
Amen. All right.
Got our GoFundMe.
Yes, Matt will set it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this week's episode, and we will catch you next time.
Adios.
Bye.